one of the players that was brought in, and it's probably one of the few that have been getting pass marks in the earliest part of the season, Gasama. And I thought he was terrible again tonight. I think he's been an absolute fizzy drink over the last wee while. Flatters to deceive, and I thought his body language was terrible. There was one pass from Conor Barron, who was running his nuts off all over the middle of the park tonight. Played one ball half a yard behind him, and Gasama's got the arms out and all that. That's not what Rangers need right now. They need players that will be in the trenches for one another.
I've just written that in my match report. Also, there's some rumours today that Villarreal are perhaps considering an offer from. I think you'll find a lot of Rangers fans would happily drive him to the airport right now. Obviously, he came in at the start of the season, started like a house on fire, scoring goals left, right, and centre. But since then, when the goals have dried up, so's his work rate. I don't think he works nearly hard enough. I think he's a bit of a prima donna. I think he's got a tendency to dive if he doesn't get the decision he wants.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it's a key thing, because as much as Danny Rowe, having worked with him at Sheffield Wednesday, will know his strengths, he'll also know where he's lacking. And perhaps that might just be the thing that thinks, listen, if we can turn around, I think it was a couple of £1 million they spent getting from Sheffield Wednesday this summer. Yeah. So if they can turn that in a profit, and again find somebody that is more to Danny Rowe's liking, then perhaps it's an easy one for them to make. So we're interested to see how that one plans out.
Yeah. One person they won't be turning a profit on anytime soon is Yousef Chit. Come off the bench again tonight. Didn't look interested to me, Andy, I'll be honest with you.
I don't know what else you can say about this lad. Probably just one of the worst pieces of business any club has ever done. £8 million in a guy who shows next to nothing. I think the people at Rangers behind the scenes, the American owners, have been taken a bit aback by the level of expectancy in him. I think they thought he was somebody coming into, he was a project, if you want to put it this way. But they have failed to realise that the Rangers fans will expect, if you pay £8 million for a guy, they expect him to be the absolute bee's knees. They expect him to do the business, and he's a million miles away from doing that. It really is hard to see how Rangers will get anywhere near getting that £8 million back. Never mind turning a profit on it, as the club was hoping for.
Andy Newport there in Budapest. See, before we go on, Keith, we've got plenty of comments on Rangers. Before I get to them, I'm really surprised to hear both your take on Gasama. I don't watch Rangers, every week with work and what have you. But last I checked, it feels like he was the one Rangers player that was a bright spot.
He had a good 3 weeks or something at the start of the season, Daniel. I think he's offered very little. Creativity, yeah, I guess he's the one guy that you might look to from a Rangers perspective that can run at people and maybe make things happen in the final third. But there's very little. There's very little end product, and I think his body language is poor. I just think I looked at some of the Celtic players tonight. I thought Nygren was really poor.
He had a terrible night.
Yeah, but see, when you see these guys, and that it's a difficult game, but the kind of arms are coming up, the shoulders are getting raised. That's a worry. That's an alarm for me. An alarm bell sounds, because at the very least, when you're up against a team of superior quality, and let's get this right, Rangers were up against far more limited opposition than Celtic were tonight. But either way, in a game that matters, in a game that you have to win, in a game that you're up against it, you actually need people that are pulling together. And Gasama, it almost looks to me at times as if he thinks he's a little bit better than everybody else, and doesn't need to put in the same sort of work ethic. I think he's been a massive disappointment, to be honest. I think that, as I said, a bit of a fizzy drink. Lots of bubbles for the first wee while. Then when it goes flat, there's not much there. It's not an enjoyable. It's not an enjoyable process, and I think that I think Rangers have got problems in that. If he is their go-to man in the final third, they're not going to go anywhere, because he seems to me to lack the necessary heart and desire to be a difference maker. He's got talent, there's no doubt about it, but where's the heart? And this is, as we've said many times before about both Celtic and Rangers, it's not good enough being a talented kid. It's not good enough being, having quality and, technical ability. you need to have that extra ingredient if you're going to make it in this environment. And right now I look at Celtic and I look at Rangers and I just don't see it. I don't see players that are cut out to wear the jersey.